had my left knee completely. Stand here in front of you without me. Wow. You ever started on being
That's what I look at.
okay. And we start as you usually do with the flag salute. So you can technically stand up, hang over your right heart, all of you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible. Good news also is that we're able to already secure our flight for our next year's award ceremony in June. We'll be back at the power of the plane. We have no problem with it here, and we have secured that site already, so we're already. They're going to introduce this year's award. Thank you. Martha Rodriguez. Yes. My name is Carl. I think you're gonna go
Good afternoon, I'm back in public, I was a public member, I don't know, back in the 90s, I Googled it, and it's not there, I can't find it. It's Google wasn't around.
Whoever met.
Anyway, we got new rules for the house. And we're really simple. Before, be on time. Oh. Please turn your cell phone inside, this is that. Oh, right. I'm sorry, that's me. So you see, so if that happens, I think you have either you have to do, if you have two knees, you have to do 5 squats. Class on that. Or maybe next weekend you can do the salutes by the guy who was part of the flag. So you pick. Anyways, that's the second one. And then listen to what the speakers have to say. Can you hear me? The next one is for your questions, jot them down. So they occur to you during the meeting and after the members of the appropriate time, one question at a time. So look at your time to ask questions. And of course, raise your hand. Like this, like in school. Okay. And finally, respect the speakers as well as other people in the meeting. And please refrain from carrying on conversations or teaching unpleasant language. So that's it for really simple help. They only have one, right? So thank you. My name is Desi. I'm from Saddleback Neighborhood Institute, which is down by Grand and Force right behind the roots. Thank you. Next.
I want to introduce Jeff. Jeff, you want to raise your hand? Jeff, our last word came in. Thank you, Jeff. One of the very exciting things for me that just recently opened in Santa Ana is the school, Catholic school, designed for low-income students. And I really believe that education is the way up, the way out of the poverty. It's the way low-income students in families can to get a high qualified education and never go up. And so, Stephen, we want to come talk about Crystal Ray.
Good afternoon. So Carl said we're a new private Catholic high school in Santa Ana. We're right on McFadden and Center, so Immaculate Heart of Mary Parish. You know that parish, their elementary school closed in 2020. So Cristo Rey is actually a national model. We're new to Orange County, but there's 38 other Cristo Rey schools across the country. And the idea is that we know we've got great public schools, we've got great charter schools, we've got great Catholic schools in Orange County. But oftentimes, if you don't win the lottery, or you want a different choice for your public school, and you can't afford tuition, you're sort of stuck out in the cold, right? And so Cristo Rey has this model where every student pays tuition, but the most anybody will pay is $3,000 per year. Tuition actually starts at $25 a month, which is hard to believe. We can do that because every student works. So we go out and find corporate jobs for students to work, and then companies pay them. That way they earn about half the cost of their education, but they're not paying tuition, they're actually earning at work. So they'll work for farmers and merchants, they'll work for the county, they'll work for engineering firms, banks, and hospitals, maybe the sheriff's department one day. All kinds of different places where they get exposed to professional careers. And then every student gets at least a $10,000 salary. So that's kind of how our model works. We don't cost less, because it's funded different. I used to work for one of those schools in Chicago and moved here to help start this one. So we're really excited to serve the students and families in Santa Ana, but also Anaheim, Garden Grove, across the country. We know that this works. So nationally, there's about 12,000 students in the 39 other Cristo Reys. 99% of graduates in college, 90% fail, and then there are 2.5 to 3 times lower than graduates from college in their social periods. We know that it works. We just opened it up last week with our founding freshman class. So you know, freshmen that's starting high school, too late. We're looking for 8th graders for next year. You know, we'll have sports, we'll have activities, we'll have all of those fun things as well. We're a little high school. But we want to spread the word. We don't want to be the best tech students, because we think the families we're looking for may not think that they can afford private Catholic student. You don't have to be Catholic to go. You'll students of all faiths. That's not a factor, but we are college prep, as I mentioned. The goal is a really college career in heaven, right? Whether if you believe in heaven, great. If you don't, you can still go. But we know we'll get you to college and career in a very successful way. We also support our students not only to college, but through, which is really unique. We don't give them financial scholarships, we do alumni persistence counselors and match them up and help them support them. We don't just drop a first generation student on at the front door of college. You haven't done the job. You've got to make sure that they're successful. You've got to do them to there, but through there as well. We have over 80 university partners nationally. So Chapman is the closest one that can get scholarship resources for first grade needs as well. So we're really excited to serve students and families in Orange County. I don't know if I have time for a question or not.
So I've been watching you. I have an 8th grader, but are you guys thinking of doing water sports? Like water polo and swim?
We don't have a pool. That would be tough. If we could find a school, backyard pool. We'll start whatever sports that students want to be able to do. Right? If we can find the facility and there are students who play water polo, great. If we have 4 students that want to play, that's not something to do. And that's the other thing. We're not building it for students and families. We're building it for them. And so right now we're going to start probably boys will volleyball, boys will soccer, cross country, track this year. We are CIL group. And so that we're able to do that as students in general. So it's up to you.
Thank you. Yeah.
We won't limit stimuli for 3 years. That's my promise to my friend.
What's your major funding source?
Yeah, so student worker names are a big part of it. Tuition contributes, and then it's a private donor. So it's not we're approved by the bishop, but we're not a diocesan school at Thunder Day, so we don't get financial support from them. It's really for independent fundraising.
With United Heart, as small as the school is.
Yeah.
What's the long-term goal? Are you guys building somewhere else or you staying there?
Yeah, we did a really intense study of if that works. So that's about 25,000 square feet. We know it'll work for the first 3 years, and then we're searching for a permanent campus. We looked at building that out, but I think the amount of construction we'd have to do, plus a parking garage, to support that parish, isn't the right fit to that site in the neighborhood. And so we don't wanna force something on a. And then never gonna work, so we're looking for a current site, we'd love to stay in Santa Ana, that's our goal. That'll be a project for this year, basically, in the next 12 to 15. If you have a spare building in 6 acres, I'm happy to talk to you as well. Thank you so much, and all my flyers in the back.
I'll be right here moving it.
Our county commissioner is very, very much to do, have the speakers come and talk about the celebrations taking place. So, Richard, okay.
Thank you, Carl. Good afternoon, I'm going to be very short, when you a little meeting in time, thank you for
This one?
being here today. My name is Stan Dana, I am the community commissioner, I'm giving myself a title. My name is, I'm the community manager for Survivors for Greenfield, and one thing we want to highlight is that we always like to highlight the group who are doing great work in the community. And this month, we have the distinct honor to be present for our PCFP Live Talker Daily that really showed and showcased the neighborhood coming together and really putting a lot of effort into this happens. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the leadership that's in the room. It's a free come up here, Ms. Fan, come up here. We had a small appreciation from the county board supervisor. And it simply just reads, on behalf of the county, that you took a recognition, to extend an award of the association recognition of your outstanding efforts, and spirit, unity, pride, and cultural heritage within the community throughout the installation of Passive Neighborhood Street Doctors. These street doctors stand as a powerful emblem of resilience, cohesion, and industrial essence that defines your remarkable neighborhood. With immense gratitude, we acknowledge that the Learning Association for Accessible Education, vision, and working on this meaningful endeavor. So that being said, I just want to give this quick little certificate to the executive identification.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we typically know that it's not easy to come together. I am part of the United Smart Living Association meeting.
Oh yeah, turn off the other mic. It's on the bottom.
And I know firsthand when the community comes together, you can accomplish a lot of great things. And so I'm very proud to be here and recognize a piece that we got. We also have a small certificate for the designer. She's going to be here today. Her name is Marianne Aguilar. She's one who helped design the copper for the street. So if you haven't taken a tour, please take a tour of the neighborhood and see the copper. It really means a lot for people living in the community. You want to see a few words? Wait, we have less than a minute.
We're part of the country, we're very proud, so also not to recognize that we also have to come, and then each festival, this Sunday, I will get Marina, who wants to she is also, they don't never, they're also in the community, and she's gonna have, give her the meal, the presentation too, so thank you very much for the presentation, we're very proud of her, and we're very excited about it.
We'll give one
In Spanish. Oops.
To our rules. One more here. You guys, things are all working for that.
Going to continue if you want to take it off, city now, will entertain, design, have to pay. This is the fourth neighborhood I know that's free coverage, maybe for the neighborhood. So, think about that, if you really would think. Also, I brought out too, we would, in the past, the county didn't know we exist. Very glad to get one more in now. Again, that will make sure that you can recognize it. I'm looking with them on the program. So we're very excited. Happy to do it. Okay. Jeffrey, if you're gonna moderate this with us, we're going to now. The panel discussion, we're very fortunate, I'll call gentlemen up and have a speak for us. First of all, we're very fortunate from OCFA, have Chief Jim Henry with us here today. Then Anna BD, we got the Mayor Bill Fernandez with us. We also a very interesting group that's working to look at environmental issues in the city. Jose Ria, and then it's good to meet you here outside of it. We're very fortunate and good help. We're able to get Mark Stanton from Santa Ana Unified High School Band. And he can talk about what they make, selling legal fireworks first. That was the legal one that, it's the EU. And so this discussion will talk about the things that we had, the solution we had, and so definitely all England.
Found out I'm moderating this, I'm very excited to be here. We're here to discuss a topic which is sparked, no pun intended, a lot of debate and passionate opinions. And here in our beloved city, that's the topic of fireworks. We're hoping to delve into that. We're a city that is filled with vibrant neighborhoods, pretty rich culture and a rich history. And fireworks are ends to be both a social celebration and a source of contention. So here tonight, we assembled a pretty interesting and unique panel to discuss fireworks, discuss its impact on neighborhoods and environment, on our residents and our pets. But we hope to do this with a sense of empathy, with a sense of understanding, and we hope to take this discussion to a juncture where both empathy meets insight, and what else we a solution to the betterment of state. So when we open this up, we've asked. So why don't we begin with Chief? I think all of them had a change, or at least offer in the 1890s. So I did that. It's one of the
Yeah. Weird. My name is Norman Shades area. I'm in the Vision Committee, and I oversee the operations here, the city of Santa Ana. I spent 27 years with the city of Santa Ana as a firefighter through the ranks and promoted to county chief. And then in 2012, when the city outsourced the fire department to the fire authority, I transitioned to the Orange County Fire Authority at the time. 4 years ago, I was promoted to a division chief. They asked me where I wanted to go. I said, I don't like that. This is my home. This is where I like to work. And this is where I feel, the closest connection to the community. I doesn't say that I don't care about the other 34 cities that we serve in our jurisdiction, but this is home to me. So a little bit about it. I'm going to talk about our presentation here. I brought two of my team members here, my public education specialist, Margita, in the back here taking pictures, and my assistant fire marshal, Juan Huerta, who will receive the firework booth inspections and all those other kind of things like that. So we'll get quickly into the PowerPoint here, and we'll just move forward and get into the next slide here. And that's kind of what we just talked about, but it's over the next. Okay, so I was lucky enough to have a list of questions that were presented to me, so I'm just going to address those as we go through those, and then I'll take questions after that. So the question was does the Orange County Fire Authority
collect fireworks, illegal fireworks. We truly don't. If we come across them, we normally notify local law enforcement. That's at all the, cities that we serve. And, if we feel that there's a hazard there, we'll bring out our hazardous materials team, and we'll also bring out the sheriff's, hazardous disposal device team to come out and assist with that kind of thing. So we don't collect illegal fireworks. Kind of part of what it is. You were asking about calls for service. So we actually took a snapshot, because fireworks start here, we start hearing about the end of June, and then they go for a couple of days after that. So if you look down here, our fireworks scenarios, right, we categorize them in a bunch of different ways. Fires, now fires could be anything. It could be a tree fire, it could be a building on fire, it could be a dumpster on fire. And so from the period of June 30th to the 9th of July, we had 23 responses, okay, in the city of Santa Ana related. The majority of those occurred again on the 4th of July. Now, I know you're going to say, how many do we know were illegally, illegal fireworks are safe to say? We don't collect that data because at that moment, we're dealing with the emergency. So we're not sure, how that occurred. EMS calls are the same, right? We've got EMS calls where we've got injuries and things like that. And then we have other service calls where people may report, hey, I think the roof's on fire, and we respond out and it's just steam. Or there's I smell smoke in the area, I think there's a fire, we respond out, and it's good smoke from fire plants. So in that period, if you look from the beginning to the end, there are about 25 calls for service here that's related to fireworks that we were able to gather. But the majority of them occurred on the 4th of July. Next slide. What are some of the ways that OCFA goes to reduce the use of illegal fireworks? Well, we partner with local law enforcement. Okay, we've got a video that we put out. We also do a social media outreach on Instagram, Twitter, our Facebook page. We also push things out with the city's NIXL service system, which is an internal system that goes out to the communities and talk about where to buy your safe and sane fireworks, where to go and witness, public displays, all those kinds of things. So we do a lot of that. We also put out printed posters, right? We have those in our fire stations, we have them in other community events as well, and then printed in English, Spanish, and release. And then one of the other things that we do on our headquarters, right, we invite the whole media to come down and to watch a fireworks demonstration, legal and illegal fireworks, and the hazards that are associated with it. And so this is an example of what I just talked about. Also on our website, right, if you go to ocfa.org, there's links in there that you can click on. They're interactive. They also have programs in the multi-languages, fireworks displays, all those kinds of things. Here's an example of one of the posters that we have. And this is fireworks fact sheets. We put out a lot of information to make sure we educate the public the best way we can. What is considered a safe and sane firework? What is considered an illegal firework? How to operate safe and sane fireworks under adult supervision? Make sure you dispose of them properly by putting them in buckets of water. All those kinds of things to educate other people. How to distinguish a regular safe and sane firework from an illegal firework. And this is just an example of one of our videos. We don't have sound, but it talks about, how to
Keep your family safe. Start by obeying all clear and make sure the fire. Light, safe, and sane fireworks and flammable materials.
Guess it's yeah, it's coming out of there.
Safe and sane fireworks. And when lighting illegal fireworks, have a bucket of water.
Then we do fire extinguisher, have a
fireworks and.
So in summary, right, our goal one is to keep the community safe, right, through education, awareness, and understanding. Our second goal, obviously, is to mitigate all emergencies as safely and efficiently and effectively as we can in our first stop. And one of the things that we do is we bring additional resources into the city from neighboring communities, right? So we have the resources available for surge capacity for the calls that we know that are going to jump on. Much like, a law enforcement department might have staff for an event. Lastly, we support our law enforcement partners, you know, and partnering with them and making sure that they're supporting us, we're supporting them. We're very lucky, we have a great working relationship with Santa Ana PD, and it's only through a collaborative effort that we're able to accomplish. So it's great. Now, the last thing I have in there is I'll answer any questions or addresses. That's pretty much my presentation. That was short to the point. I hope I didn't leave anybody fall asleep back there in the back row. So, I will wait. You want to wait until 60 minutes? That's going to be never matter. Great, Commander.
One second.
We'll split it up. I'll introduce myself. My name is Joe Hernandez. I'm commander with Santa Ana PD. I've been in Santa Ana since 2003. Started a little bit before that in LA County. I've been commander here for a couple of years now, and I've had the honor of overseeing the Firewalls Enforcement Deployment Program last year, and then this year myself and Commander Julian Rodriguez, who's here now. As we're ready here, I'll touch on a couple of things. We recently restructured our policing framework back to a district command framework. And I'm just going to touch on that briefly just because I have Commander Rodriguez here, who's our Northeast District Commander. I'm currently assigned as our Southeast District Commander, and we have commanders assigned to each district of the police department now. And really, we're going back to a framework that existed here 20 years ago, where we had assigned district commanders to be more responsive to the needs of the community and be more up to speed on what's going on within their particular districts, and essentially be like mini police chiefs within our specific districts. So I look forward to the development of that and rolling that out. We are in it now. We're starting, and we're going to see our faces more at the individual community events at the various districts within the city. So I just wanted to touch on that. Really quick, so my presentation is going to be very brief as well. And actually, I put it back and like, hey, cut it off. So it's kind of long, so I'm going to be brief. This is long so again, our 4th of July enforcement period, really, we define it as our enforcement period is from the 29th, from the 29th of June through July 5th. And that's really when we have our increased staffing, significantly enhanced staffing throughout that operational period. But really, we're tracking activity as early as June 1st and beyond, after the 4th of July. And our program obviously includes a comprehensive education program prior to the 4th of July, and that's what we social media outreach, post flyers. We go and we get in contact with the business owners, residents, property management groups throughout our city, just to educate folks on the resources that are available to them to report fireworks, to assist us in getting fireworks related throughout the city, and just really educate people so that to try to mitigate the impact of fireworks during that operational period, specifically during that holiday weekend. And then we kind of focus our efforts on being proactive to intercept the use of fireworks so that we can minimize the impact during the operational period. We go after the illegal firework vendors that post up on social media outlets online. Uncover, we reach out to them and set up fines, and then we go and we seizures. This year, unfortunately, we were not as effective as we were in previous years. I'm going to be in public. Everyone gets more savvy. The social media outlets also have helped with that. When they see that a vendor is selling fireworks just outright, they shut it down. So that helped, but it also hindered us in getting to them as well. So what we would see more now is you would get, like something, let's say, Aqua. They would be posting baby clothes. And then you click on baby clothes, and as you look through their slides, there'd be fireworks. And then you click on that and you try to set up a sale. So it became more difficult for us to go after those, illegal fireworks. Vendors. We had dedicated illegal fireworks control starting on June 1st. So essentially units that were going out there proactively trying to identify and address illegal fireworks related incidents. And then obviously we follow up with emails and voicemail tips that we received on. And our operational staffing was increased from the funding. These are some of our reporting venues that we have a tip line. That phone number has not changed over the years, so we activate it every year at the beginning of June, so that folks can call in. There's a reporting line via email. Residents have the option of calling traditionally, like they would under normal circumstances, calling our dispatch center and reporting illegal fireworks as we see them for a response. And then also there's a function within the My Santa Ana app that allows folks to also report illegal fireworks. And I'll briefly touch on that. We significantly, as we approach the 4th of July holiday, beginning on July, I'm sorry, June 29th, our staffing goes from a squad of officers, which could be 7 to 8 officers, 7 to 10 officers, to multiple squads of officers, which could be 60, 70 officers, specifically assigned to fireworks enforcement. And we did that throughout the operational period leading up to the 4th of July, and then obviously we began right after the 4th of July as a follow-up. Leading up to the 4th of July, they were proactive. They're still conducting the enforcement operations where we're going to seize illegal fireworks, issuing citations, all of the above. On the day of, because of the increased activity, we shift into more of a response model where we're going to, because we get a significant amount of calls for service on the night of, and then it just becomes responding to those calls and really taking our battles. You know, as you can imagine, we turn down the street, you can turn on any block in Santa Ana, and everyone's like fireworks, right? And so it's not easy to differentiate which ones are the illegal ones and which ones are legal when you're responding in that manner. So we have undercover officers that are out there to assist us, kind of guide us into which is of the illegal. You know, some of them are obvious. They're commercial grade, you know, 59 Anaheim Stadium type fireworks. Those are easier to get to. The difficulty in enforcing that is that you have to be able to see the person that's united, handling, that's responsible for them. Usually by the time we pull up, you know, there may be a stash and we'll go and we'll confiscate them, but no one's going to claim them, right? So that's part of the reason that we don't have the elevated numbers of citations related to illegal fireworks. And so this year, our calls for service during the operational period went up slightly compared to 2022. So I think it's 12.45, that's for the operational period compared to the other period. But we did also increase personnel overtime costs compared to last year. Our response time stayed about the same. We monitor that. We know that's important to our residents and important to us as well. And because of the high volume of calls, we increased it staff to be able to respond to those calls. Like I said, the fireworks detail are primarily tasked with responding to fireworks related incidents, while so that our patrol personnel can still respond to all our priority calls, priority 25, calls throughout the JMS, right? Our fire seatbelt also assist on those calls when necessary. The priority call comes out, because we have the elevated staffing, they also shift gears and will assist if someone likely to get dirty. Things of that nature. This year, just as a recap, we had 3 calls that involved major injuries being, kids going up again, that type of, where also they partnered with us, responding, and there was a transport or some type of, major injury. We had maybe fire alarms, 8, 3 brush fires, or 3 fires, 11, fires, 16, and these are responses that we also co-responded with most of the things, and then 2 structure fires with the minor damage. Some considerations for 2023, for 2024. We wanted to incorporate drones into this year's enforcement strategy. We do not have a current drone program within our police department. We are developing that program, and we hope that by 2024, it will be up and running and operational, and we'll be able to incorporate it into our enforcement plan. I know we discussed it briefly last year, but it was still in the development stages. And we're still really research to be able to bring an effective program to our city. And then also fixed cameras at specified locations. We have areas throughout the city that are well known for being hotspots with regard to fireworks related calls sort of during that operational period. So we're considering the use of fixed cameras to take it on the spot. The reason I bring that up is because we have had challenges in entering certain areas to provide aid to people that are injured or suffering from the effects of illegal fireworks, because of the element that's out there that are waiting to see our fire personnel, our police personnel enter, and then they're firing the fireworks flat at us. You can imagine how dangerous that can be. So those require significant resources, coordination between the agencies, communication, and so we do need to enhance our ability to respond to those types of incidents because of the elevated danger that are inherent. So with that, if there's any questions, we're
gonna hold off on that. Thank you. I'd like to call up, we have the executive director for the National Park Stream Program, the getting residents engaged in common neighborhoods. And you know, the unique perspective based on the background, the environmental analysis, and the educational program, the medical education program for Black community.
Thank you, Carl, for the invitation, and thank you for your assistance and presence. The work that we're going to present is actually not our work. It's the work of 4 youth from our neighborhood. Celeste is a student at Saddleback High School. Caroline is at UC San Diego, environmental science. Luis is at Century High School, and Jose is a UC Irvine and in science engineering. And we have some collaborators. Now, let's explain the difference between Madison Park Neighborhood Association and Green NPMA. We had AUCI, which is primarily an atmospheric chemist, a UC Irvine, AFEL, which is the Air Pollution Health Effects Lab, and the EcoGo Lab. So these are the 3 entities where students conducted research for 6 weeks. Next slide. So in terms of a little bit of our history, I'm a immigrant from Mexico. I've been in Santa for 40 years. When I transferred from East LA College to UC Irvine as an undergraduate. And, but FDNA has been collaborating with Max Elementary for a long time. The history that we have is that since 1987, when they advocated for the restoring of the traffic light on Howard and Standard Avenue. And since then, there's been a lot of work, I mean, in the neighborhood for 25 years. In 2011, when the California Endowment came to UCI and Santa Ana, we received our first grant and we formed GREEN, which is the Daily Residents Engaged for the Environment Neighborhood Community-Based Organization. Currently, we have multiple grants from the Department of Justice, the U.S. EPA, the EPA, the California Endowment Fund, NSF and NIH to run the program and Madison Elementary. But in May 2017, we learned there was a company moving into the neighborhood, and the community was informed that this company, Rustech, needed a special permit from the South Coast Air Quality Management District. And the reason the community was informed, it was because they were less than 1,000 yards from Kennedy Elementary, Madison Elementary, and Century High School. And that's by law, they were required to inform the community. Next slide. So we, in February 2018, we invited the city of Santa Ana, and somebody lives, I'll say you, this is one of the students that conducted the research. So we invited the South Coast Management District and the city of Santa Ana building a planning agency to ask some questions about how these permits were issued, what kind of study was done, and how come we only gave us 20 days to respond in writing, and there was no response from some of the inquiries that we made to the agency. And in that community forum, there was questions that came up from the parents and the neighbors in the area. You know, one was, what is the public record on Kennedy Madison Century High School students playing in districts when Rustech left another 41 companies that they told us they needed those special permits that were clustered around the schools. And the area that were operating and using pollutants at the same time that the kids were playing in the area, in the recess. And then the second question is, to protect the health of the residents, why can the city of Santa Ana to prevent more polluting companies from coming to the city and to reduce the number of existing ones? We've done a lot of work since then, in the last 4.5 years, and we know that there's over 1,600 AQMD permits in the city of Santa Ana. The Environmental Protection Agency, the California Environmental Protection Agency, is telling us that they have the dirtiest air in all Orange County for multiple reasons, that multiple sources. We're on the landing pad of John Wayne Airport. We have industrial and commercial trains. We have corral by freeways, have heavy traffic that just go through the city, but they don't leave in the city. So there's multiple sources of air pollution. Next one. So Cicada, excuse me, is the one that presented this information at the forum back in 2018. Since then, they have to come back multiple times and work with other agencies that they meet. Because we have 50 residents, about 30 adults, and about 20 kids that are doing research in the community with faculty and for the last 4.5 years. So we have multiple results. Today I want to talk about one of them that lives in fellow insurance conducted during the summer, this summer. Next one. So in that presentation, the data shows the different types of air pollution. We got the global one, the greenhouse gases, we got the criteria pollutants. Like in this case, we're going to be talking about a particular matter, and then we have the toxic air contaminants, some of the stuff that Brastek is releasing into the air. So just for a matter of size and like as an example, so that's a human hair. And we are talking about a particular matter, which is one of the pollutants that comes in different sizes. And in this case, we're going to be talking about the range between 2.5 and 10, which is micrograms per cubic meter. And there's more ones, but actually these ones are also being measured by another one of the faculties. Actually, that one, that's in the state of Radiola. It goes through the cell wall into the bloodstream directly. It's so small. So just we're talking about this side and this side. Then the line compare. That's right. So again, criteria pollutants. We're looking at this one in particular. There's other carbon monoxide, lead, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and then some of the toxic contaminants we're not going to talk about. But for instance, we know that Brastek and other metal plating companies in Canada, they're releasing hexavalent chromium, nickel, benzene, and other metals. So that's one. So some of the health effect fireworks that can cause serious health effects, asthma, acute bronchitis, acute respiratory infections, cardiac cancer, arrhythmias, and then some of the stuff that is within the fireworks are sodium, copper, lead, titanium, aluminum, magnesium, and other stuff. So why is metals bad for you? Then it's a lung cell, possible lead poisoning, and then I can tell you lung disease and acute bronchitis, among other things. That's all. So we are using a affordable monitor that's called Purple Air that were donated by AQMD in a study, international study with NASA. They donated 15 of those, and we distributed them along the industrial corridor that is the southeast side of Santa Ana. And this is at some of the residents, but we can see, sorry about the different scale, makes it a little difficult to read. But you see these some of the dotted lines, basically, that is the standard, the EPA standard. And we can see the 4th of July are those peaks on the different days. And we're talking about a pretty high number, we're going to be able to see them. But look at the next slide. Yeah, so here's what general pollution does to some of the organs and different parts of the body. Next slide. So this is the purple air monitor. It's pretty small. You can see the size of the camera. It needs to be connected to power, but also it connects through the internet to the satellite. And whatever is being recorded, non-stop, is such as something that is free available for everybody to access that information. And that's the data that some of the students were analyzing as part of the research. So this is some of the homes where we have this in Southeast Santa Ana. But since then, one of our grants allow us to purchase more Purple Airs, and we're moving west and northwest to the city and instead of adding more. So if you are a resident in some of this area, you'll be sure to point to one of them. Doesn't take a lot of electricity, and you can have an internet connection. So basically, this is what it is. It begins 4th of July, and it's actually 24 hours. And you can just keep this in mind. So 15, it's about the threshold that is allowable. So here we are about 500 when all the fireworks are going up in the air. Next slide. So again, you look at the numbers, 0 to 50, very color, very clean. Bottom one numbers 201 to 300, very 30, and purple. Next. So just for reference, 55 feet away, 45 feet away.
Sorry, oh, I was gonna play the video.
Yeah, so, less than 5 feet away, this is, the circles are where we, installed some of the, fibers. When we are moving in this direction, you, move the entire city and the process. Third one, not really orange. Make that.
Right.
So this is a really brief. This is the time, 4th of July, 2 p.m. You see how the number begins to change. 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 7:30, 8 p.m., 8:15, 8:30, 8:45. The purple one's 61, 9:15, 9:30, 9:45. 10 p.m. They're all in Santa Ana, not the surrounding city. So that's where I am, the last reading, and so you can see the pollution that is happening in our city during the 4th of July. So this one is also 24 hours. And this one is a little film, but it doesn't work, it's not too much for I guess awkward, and so when you look at this different cities, and this you can see actually the way move. So this is Santa Ana, one of the leads, and 50, and then you can see actually the color move within 24 hours from the city of Orange. And the different cities, so the pollution problem all the way from Palm Springs within 24 hours. So even the cities where the fireworks are banned are being contaminated by the Santa Ana fireworks. So, yeah, so this is that's from the students, and one of the recommendations is from alternatives to fireworks, drones, by the very well completed cannons, laser lights, and then the more parks, more trees, buffer zones, and what have you. But this is just the recommendations that the students. I don't know, Luis, you want to say anything else? This is my last slide.
Yeah, well, based on president of financial Actually, we created this slide, we found some alternatives to the fireworks that are more up there for you, so the drone show. They are a better way to celebrate 4th of July. And so we decided to create some alternatives like parks, which would help with the air pollution from the fireworks contamination.
That was very representative. Thank you. They were really detailed. Presentation. We're going to move on now to Orange Center. Of course, there's July 4th approaches. You can see shacks. Beginning to build all around Santa Ana. Those are itself set to contain legal fireworks, and many of these organizations, maybe the shack are partner with nonprofits. Representing providers during important source of funding. We want to invite here tonight one of those nonprofits. Tell you what the point of the program is. We want to have Mark Sanchez. Mark is the band leader for the Santa Ana High School State Marching Band, marching band, and would remind me that this is 2023, the 40th anniversary of the Mayor's Bowl, where the Saints beat the Monarchs on day 21-7. That's football. 21-7.
That would be a sort of.
Doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't have a fancy presentation, but
So fireworks has always been the primary source of funding for everything that isn't transportation. Our school budget that the district provides, primarily covers transportation getting to and from competitions, football games, whenever we have a performance, in the community, which we have a lot of. We perform everywhere, and we are not the only organization at our school that has a fireworks school. Most of our athletic teams rely on this funding. Most of us rely on this funding for various costs that can't be covered by the school. I pay for coaches that we can't afford otherwise. I pay for meals for all the students whenever we go out to competitions. And whenever we have fireworks sales, we only sell from July 1st through the 4th to 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock on the 4th. We are inspected twice by the fire department. They make sure that we have everything in order. They come by, do an initial inspection, and if we don't have anything, they come by a second time. I've never been in this situation, but we are not allowed to sell unless we are above board and pass that inspection. So everything that we do is supposed to be for safe and sane fireworks. None of the fireworks that we sell leave the grounds, and that is the law that we have to adhere to. We are not given any fireworks that leave the grounds, and we are not given an option to sell any fireworks that cause big explosions. The loudest thing we sell is a piccolo beat, and it whistles for about 5 seconds and goes away. So, you know, and we really don't sell a lot of fireworks that cause a lot of damage. They don't cause a lot of smoke. We are trained to demonstrate and show, well, we don't demonstrate it, we show videos of all of our people. They don't give off a lot of smoke when we light them. So I've had to speak a couple of times when fireworks have been threatened. And I assure you, there is no way that our program would survive without the sale of fireworks. It provides us with $50,000 to $20,000 a year of revenue, and that's all we have. And when that's gone, it's gone. So there is not a single city member that we can ask for $20,000 a year. We get $500 grants here and there from the city, but that's about it. And you know, with declining enrollment, we don't have the luxury of getting unlimited funding. And I speak for my fellow staff members, like our kids deserve everything. And so if we could provide whatever we can for them, then I'll sell as many fireworks as I need to. So, you know, and I'll go to every meeting, but they honestly don't damage. I have not seen any of the fireworks who saw cause massive environmental damage or create any sound problems in our community. Those don't come from us. So.
Anyway, we go ahead and open it up for questions.
That's right. Okay. Well, I just had a question because he's bringing up some good points, and I'm thinking like a mom, I'm thinking as a, you know, person, and I'm thinking if we banned all fireworks, would the Santa Ana PD be able to give any tickets any different than they do now? So does that mean that now they can pull up and the minute they see a firework, it's a ticket? Or is it gonna be the same thing? We're still looking until we see the person lighting it up, because then what's the difference? Is my question.
That's a good question. You know, obviously, if all fireworks were illegal, it would be easier to identify people. You know, turn on the street and see, you know, 30 people lighting fireworks. See anybody about it. There is a significant, I have to agree, gentlemen, there is a significant difference between the illegal fireworks and the safe and sane fireworks.
But if they were illegal, they were all illegal, it'd be easier to enforce anyway.
Thank you, everybody, for your presentation. The environmental impact that had to do with all fireworks, right? Not just the illegal ones?
Yeah, we're looking at just what's happening on that day. From the moment they start. The research has been going on and in different places. But that one is just looking at what is being recorded by the football and monitors that are the home of the records of that.
The drone situation for the fireworks, how would you actually applicate that before setting out? Anybody on drones? No?
I think they're referring to like, drones that emit lights. There are a few places that do it, those are very expensive. So, if you can get a bunch of them and create pictures, electronically, but, I've never really seen them outside of Disney.
Well, I've seen some drones at in my area.
Mine too.
As far as exhibits going on the 4th of July, going a minute and 40 seconds. Extreme. I mean, this is like Disney.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just saying.
I can let you know, I sat out my front yard over at Valley. The worst place in the world. In fact, ours was better than the cities. You know, as far as the fireworks. And I could have sworn that there was one in the southwest area, a drone. Because I was wondering, I didn't see any tickets or any police cars or anything. Because I knew neighbors were calling in for it. But I did see a drone. And it was going this way, and then it finally went that way, and I said, they're using drones, that's how, because it's so bad. I mean, I can bet Fallujah is a haven compared to the fireworks that are over in our area. But I did see a drone, and it was going this way, and I said,
So look at a second, I think we have to follow the next person, Mr.
Yes. With regard to the drone question, I had asked this question. And it may have been of you, sir, at one of the mayor's neighborhood presidents meetings in City Hall, and that was some months ago, asking about were we going to deploy drones? Because the technology certainly exists to deploy them, and off of those, my God, you guys could fund a new wing of the police department off of your first year in fines. Someone, and I'm not certain if it was you, but whoever I did talk to said, yes, we're ready to go. The policy and procedures are all in place, and all we're waiting for is a green light from the council. And apparently that green light never happened. Is that correct? I'm not blaming you, I'm asking a question. You never got the green light.
Fully.
So that authorization didn't happen. Yeah.
I'm not aware of it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the program, but it goes through the development. I think it's just a matter of getting.
Well, the commander that I spoke to said it was all ready to go, 100% ready to go. They're simply waiting on the green light from the council. And of course, this issue of whether we ban legal fireworks, because we all know here that legal fireworks are nothing but cover for the illegal fireworks. Everybody knows that. There's no mystery there. But if we somehow could get a handle on enforcement of the illegal fireworks, then legal fireworks could remain. That's what it's all about. And the only way that'll happen is with the deployment of drones. So that's something, I think that option ought to be explored, that either we abolish them or we agree to try tried the drone enforcement for a couple of years. If that doesn't work, we didn't move the full volume. Because the quality of life in this city is being reduced to zero. I mean, we feel like we're living in Ukraine, for the 48 hours before and after July 4th. It's just, it isn't worth it. So the little money that the nonprofits are making needs to be made elsewhere, not off of the quality of life of the 325,000 people live in Santa Ana.
You have a question?
Next behind you, next gentleman behind you.
So, back to this man's question on the drones from Disneyland. As a researcher on this program and the drone was a viable option instead of fireworks, we did look at the budget for the drone, and it was somewhere from $100 to $200 for one drone. And all you really have to do is need a bunch of LED strips on it, and all you have to do is all you need to do is look at it. So these drones aren't as that expensive as you think they are. You can get a cheap drone. Not like quality of Disneyland, but you still get a good show out of it. And it would be way cheaper than fireworks.
I think I have two questions, kind of short. No.
The bottom. Okay.
Hello, is that it? No, your place.
We
can hear you.
It's not, I don't know. Anyway, two quick questions. It used to be when I'd buy fireworks from an organization like, thank you guys. They would all be like uniforms for schools or some kind of a nonprofit. The last couple of years, it seems like a lot of them are not nonprofits. Is there a requirement that all of them be?
I mean,
Because I've asked and they said, no, we're just us.
I can't speak for that because of the actual PMT, but we have to submit a lot nonprofit when we apply through the city. So our permits itself are actually through the city, not through the veteran. So we apply as a nonprofit.
That was just one question. It seems like that's expanded. Second part is illegal fireworks. Do you prioritize? Because it seems like the last few years, in addition to the like Disneyland fireworks, there's been a lot of pure noise, howitzer type, the whole house shakes. I've heard that a lot from people. So is that a priority if you hear a complaint and they're doing howitzers, almost like military grade fireworks?
In terms of our response to the call?
Yeah, I just noticed there's the last couple of years, there's been a lot more explosive house shaking fireworks versus just the Disneyland fireworks.
Yeah. Well, we prioritize our response based on the threat collection. When we get a call, complaining that they're illegal fireworks, it's an illegal fireworks call or.
So it's all the same.
Right, we don't differentiate between call but they are getting
So we'll answer that question about the nonprofit. I have my assistant fire marshal that his section goes out and inspects the route, so as long as
yeah, so it's our understanding of the city, when they do receive the applications from folks that are wanting to sell it, they do need to be a nonprofit, so they do have to have a 501c3 standing. So whoever you talk to, the only requirement is that they be over the age of 18 to actually work in the booth. So if you have a conversation with someone, they just may be volunteering. But the organization that's, sponsoring that specific fireworks stand has to be a nonprofit.
They used to be marked, maybe that's Little League uniforms, football uniforms, bands.
Yeah,
that's changed.
They need all that up to the people selling it. So I know for sure, we put up signs on ours, we're on 17 in front of
Albertson.
Yeah, so we always have signage up, and I always bring my kids, so like they wear their band shirts, so everyone knows that it's for the Santa Ana High School band. But each booth and each organization is different.
Okay, couple of questions.
She has an,
That's okay, just a quick question, how are the sales this year? Because I have a booth in my neighborhood. But every time I drove by, there was nobody really there purchasing fireworks. And also what I want to say is even like my street, I think the fireworks that didn't leave the ground, a lot of them did. I have a feeling they were not purchased from Santa Ana, they were probably from a different state or somewhere else. So how were your sales this year?
We really blow it up on social media, no pun intended, but we sold out. I mean, I brought back a box in my car to Angel Stadium. And our booth is one of the bigger booths. And we let everyone know that this is our sole source of revenue. So the kids understand that, so we make sure all the parents go on through it. And I don't know, we could well. Maybe usually between 17 and 20,000.
Okay, funny. Why is the only time that you guys can respond for it? Throughout the year, why is it the only time where?
It's the largest source of revenue that we can do. We do little fundraisers, like we set up a halo as a concert. We do little things like that, but as far as like large scale operation fundraisers, that's like we'll do Chipotle nights, we'll do like little things like that, but there is nothing else that we know of that raises that amount of money in such a short amount of time.
So listening to his presentation, you think it's worth it? The 350,000 people to go through for a year of basically waiting for this occasion?
So I don't know how to answer a question that does not involve just one organization. We do what we need to do to make sure that we have something for these kids. And we are not the only group that does this. We understand that there are other fireworks that contribute to the environmental problem in our group. And we're not discounting that at all. But we don't know any other way to raise money, and me personally will do whatever it takes to make sure my students are provided within moral purpose.
So I just hope that listening to this presentation, you can take it. And my appreciate it because we've been waiting for this for the longest time. Santa City Department, the city, as a matter of fact, we complaining neighbors every single year. Day and night fireworks, still fireworks, and nothing is working. So it's really thank you for your presentation. I think you really got my attention, and I hope everybody else will.
Okay, hi, so I just wanted to know, and I'm assuming it's Santa Ana Unified School District. What is the reason they're giving you for not being able to support the teams and the sports for the kids and the teachers and the kids?
So each organization on campus, extracurricular activity is given a specific budget. Ours, fortunately, we have one of the larger budgets because we are one of the more public faces on our campus. But I use most of that for transportation. So our marching band is the only one in the district that competes. There are no other high schools in this district other than Modern Day that goes to marching band competitions. And I don't ever want to stop that because the students love it and they learn so much with it. And that uses about $20,000 already. And if we were to ask more of our school and really fight for it, it's going to start to take away from things like books. And I would never want that even, you know, I don't want to take away from academic support even, you know, and a lot of our budget that we're getting from the school pays for sheet music, pays for little consumable supplies like reeds, mouthpieces, lubricating oils. There's so many things that go into running a band program than just a bus, right? And more than just uniforms. There's things that I spend about $5,000 to $10,000 of my own money every year for consumable supplies because my kids just can't afford it.
So I have, like, luckily, I have family now chipping in. I always have a wish list on Amazon, and I have family that chips in and buys consumable supplies for me. But it's not sustainable, but because our enrollment is declining for numerous reasons, our funding is declining as well, so.
We have a.
I just, yeah, I wanna, piggyback on your comment. I work for Washington Department of Education, and I work with budgets, school district budgets. And there is declining enrollment, which is causing a decrease in, what the state is providing for school districts. 85 to 90% of school district budgets go to staff salaries, teachers and classified salaries. That little bit that's left over has to get spread out for educational services, for extracurriculars, but extracurriculars are really supported by the ASB. And you know, in his case, in these you know, extracurricular, like your band case where you're having to raise money through, you know, selling the fireworks. I also have a coworker who leads the Memorial Park Little League for Santa Ana, and he says that the only way he can run his little league for the students for the season is through the sale of fireworks. Because he has to keep the lights on in the fields, right? So there he's being charged for keeping the lights on at the fields, renting venues. So yes, it's a problem. The fireworks are an environmental problem, but then how do we supplement or supplant the funds that are being made on the sale of fireworks?
Yeah, and I think one thing that I was hoping to hear from one of the presentations is how much does that cost the city for law enforcement and fire department to go out and address some of these issues? And let's suppose that you guys came back and said, you know what, this costs us I don't know, $100,000 to respond during this period. I feel like a ban on fireworks would allow us to easily find people, but also perhaps use those $100,000 to be able to fund some of these programs. And I do want to say that it's to kind of piggyback on what she's saying is that, you know, I see teachers starting GoFundMe just for school supplies. They're not paying for crossing guards. They're not paying for some of these boards. And the school district has $1 billion budget. So it really makes me wonder what's going on.
They went out and had a budget of surplus. And the surplus. Right.
I didn't hear your, I didn't hear your presentation, I mean, issues were given. Did she mention that?
I didn't include that in the presentation. Okay, we do have a comment, but I didn't.
We think it was what?
I don't think it was. And I explained that just because the enforcement aspect of it, was related to issuing citations. Was not as easy as it was last year. It was easier for us to proactively go after the illicit sales of fireworks. This year was significantly more.
So the way the law is written now, if you go to a house, can you cite the person that you speak with it, or can you cite the homeowner? Can you cite the homeowner for having that and
No, you cite the person that's in possession of the firework.
Okay. Well, an example is, you know, East First Street, you guys have done a very good job. Since our last meeting, it's gotten better. And also the vendors that we have some, you know, I think it's the council thing, we need to put, you know, enforce this laws. Yeah. And if they do it, it'll get done. That's what happened with the vendors, they got run away. And also on East First Street, it's been cleaned up earlier. I mean, I live by there and I drive by all the time and I see a lot of, since our last meeting. I said, no, that's since our last meeting, they have to do quite a bit. And it's about focusing, you know, putting the enforcement and doing it. I think they have the staff to do it, but I don't know if they're willing to do it. So
Please bring it back.
I just want, wondering, how do you identify, like a illegal fighting? It's so hard to know which ones, like, how do you identify them? To me, those are very loud, so which one is the illegal one?
So I can touch on that briefly. We do provide guides to our officers so they can identify the same thing fireworks that's.
Okay. Yeah, so the state fireworks have a stamp from the California State Fire Marshal's office that says that it is approved to be sold in California. So so we do that, and we provide it to the public, we provide that for them, for their officers, so they understand what they look like. Anything that leaves the ground, pretty much not approved to be sold in California, unless you're a licensed pyrotechnic person doing a commercial show.
So when you buy those fireworks, like the box and like the specific, like.
It has a seal, it has a stamp.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, when I was on the city council, to go back to what kind of things to replace the fireworks. We used to have way back in the 40s. Okay, it used to be a bicycle marathon. It was called the kite racing for bicycles. It started in Santa Ana, go into Tustin, come down to Orange and back to the main place there. It was very, very successful in doing that because you had sponsorship. They got the community in and they sponsored all teams, schools and everything else. And at the end, they had a big chili cook-off, and music and everything else to culminate this. Sort of like the marathon, Orange County Marathon. And I brought that up to the council back in 2000. Okay, and of course it was looked upon because of the nonprofits coming in saying for this bill. I think we need to revisit that because how many people now, environmentally friendly, how many are on bicycles? You could get sponsorship in Santa Ana, okay? I know Valley, we used to have, when my son was in school, I was president of the Booster Club, we were doing fundraisers all the time. And getting something big like that, you bring in a lot of corporate sponsors and everything, and you have that safe and sane, and it can be a family event. So I think something like that should be revisited. So I just wanted to let you know, I brought that up in 2000 when I was on the council and it got shot down.
Okay. Because of time, I just want to thank our panelists. Also want to remind everybody that if you haven't received the validation card, please see the gentleman come back. I also want to ask Irma, do you have an announcement to make?
Yes, hello, everybody. I am hello, I'm with different groups, but this time I'm representing the Evil Club. For those of you who don't know, guess what? We're going to have open house October 18th from 5:30 to 7:30, so you can tour the building, see the beautiful architecture, and we'll have the history there, and there'll be some Evil members to answer any questions about membership. So I'll be coming back with a flyer to present and reintroduce the Evil Club. That's an absolute jewel that we have. That one day we might have a gala event and we can all have a grand night. Thank you.
I do want to announce that our next meeting is going to be represented in Santa Ana. There will be sacred meetings in Santa Ana. Then following month of October, that week of September, October, we're going to ask Mr. Ray to come back and talk about environmental justice. We're going to hear more of that in the city. The very areas how it is and to be magnified. All that's going to go on in the city. But good meeting followed with that. With that, I want to thank our panel and thank the sorry, Chief Commander Bill Fernandez, Bill Reyes, and Saxon. I need prayer, sir. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Everybody goes for all of you, meeting center, whatever. unfortunately, we'll do that. But, anyway, thank you for coming, it's very enjoyable tonight, I hope you got something from it, and it was a bit late, we started around 6 o'clock.
Thank you.